The Election of 1800 by Ethan O'Keefe. The man who served as president during 1796 to 1800 after George Washington, the first president, was Federalist John Adams. His vice president had been Thomas Jefferson, a Democratic Republican. In 1800, though, they were both running for president against each other. Adams' running mate was Charles Pinckney, and Jefferson's was Aaron Burr. This turned out to be one of the bitterest, most vicious campaigns in history. Jefferson's Federalist opponents claimed that he was an atheist and an enemy of religion, a fanatic in politics, a drunkard who would be unable to avoid civil war, and that under his presidency, crime would be openly taught and practiced. Jefferson's supporters retaliated by saying that John Adams was a monarchist who would reunite America with Britain. Each elector voted twice, once for a president and once for a vice president, although the two were not elected separately. The Democratic Republicans, Jefferson and Burr, won the 1800 election. Burr and Jefferson each received 73 electoral votes. John Adams received 65 electoral votes. Charles Pinckney received 64, and Federalist John Jay received 1. The Democratic Republicans had been able to overtake the Federalists because of the 3/5 slaves compromise, which allowed a slave to be worth 3/5 of a regular citizen when deciding how many representatives a state gets in the House, which is based on the state's population. This compromise was created because large states wanted the slaves to be used for representation purposes, but not for taxing purposes. Small states wanted slaves to be counted for taxing, but not for representation. The compromise stated that slaves would be considered 3/5 of a person for both taxation and representation. However, a problem soon arose. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr had received equal amounts of votes, since all Democratic Republican congressmen had voted for both of them. Instead of saying Jefferson would be president and taking vice president, Aaron Burr let the Congress vote the president. From February 11th to February 17th, Burr and Jefferson essentially ran against each other in the House of Representatives. The Federalist-dominated Congress loathed to vote for Thomas Jefferson. A majority of 9 states was needed, but 35 ballots went by without it happening. Finally, on the 36th ballot, James A. Bayard, Delaware's lone representative, under pressure, cast a blank ballot, along with Federalist-controlled Maryland, South Carolina, and Vermont, which gave Jefferson 10 states' approval, enough to win presidency and giving Aaron Burr the position of vice president. To prevent this situation from occurring again, the 12th Amendment was adopted. It said that electors shall meet in their respective state and vote by ballot for president and vice president in distinct ballots, and how many votes they're given shall be named in the ballots. The ballots will be given to the President of the Senate, who will count them. The person with the greatest amount for each will be named president and vice president. If nobody has a majority, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot.